Bringing Home the Ashes by Jameson Allen. Stand down, all you cricketers. It's about human ashes. And about Barry, a mild-mannered Tasmanian who's taking them back to Australia, and how he gets involved with Kresnik, a refugee from Sarajevo who's working as an underworld courier. Here's a chapter about Graham, who is the person whose ashes are going to figure largely in the story. Graham Pleasance is expecting a visitor, his friend, Roger. He convinces himself that this will be his opportunity to escape this place, to return to his house, and to rescue Spencer from his neighbour's care. "How are we this morning, Graham?" It's that irritatingly cheerful nurse, the big one with the blue uniform. What's her name? "We, my darling, have been better." "Have we emptied our bowels?" As if shitting were a joint activity. The image was too awful. A wasted old man and a large-bummed woman squatting side by side, comparing notes as they noisily defecate en duet. The man in the corner, that one with the toothless, demented grin, winks knowingly at him. Across the room, a feeble, white-haired skeleton of a man mumbles his deathly secrets as his wife sits silently at his bedside. Graham's keepers have told him that he cannot return home, that he needs continuous care and should spend a while in respite. But he knows, in moments of clarity, what that really means. Transition to a care home, that's what it means. Enduring a non-life like those of his friends Jim and Anne, who for several years now have been incarcerated in such a place, watching their lives and their children's inheritance draining away with each assisted shower. Why, even his own friends seem to have decided that he can no longer look after himself. Both Roger and Delbert have been inspecting care homes on his behalf, without seeking his permission or his views, treating him like a child. He who could in his day run rings around both of them. Still could, couldn't he? If only Mr. Parkinson would back off a little. He will not die a disinfected death in hospital like his mother, nor will he waste away in care custody. He will be dressed and ready to leave when Roger arrives. He plans to put on his pink shorts and his violet short-sleeved shirt. Socks have long since defeated him. He'll slip his feet into his sandals once he finds them. He knows it's warm outside. It's so long since he's felt the sun on his face that the anticipation brings hot tears. He has sudden vivid memories of cloudless days on the Côte d'Azur, of sunbathing naked in the coves of Mykonos, and of running shirtless and free in Catalonia with that loving young man, his name long forgotten. He coaxes his frail body around so that his legs hang over the side of the hospital bed. He checks that his catheter paraphernalia is properly in place. He is wearing his lightweight leaf-green shorty pyjamas. He's surprised at how thin his legs are. Carefully, he lets them down to meet the shiny vinyl floor. But the floor is not a friend. It rises up without warning to crash into his bony body and break his spectacles against his startled face. From his new position, his cheek on the strangely comforting vinyl, he sees under the bed a lone glass lens cast free from its frame, and he sees his leather sandals, 2 feet removed, so very far out of his reach. Near them is a little coil of dusty fluff, a defiant survivor of the relentless scouring that this place endures, a small victory over the jailers. Droplets of blood appear on the floor, close to his face. He will leave this place, he determines, as he lies there, listening to approaching footsteps. The footsteps come closer. They're coming along the deck. It'll be the waiter with his daiquiri. The sun presses warm on his face now. A breeze carries the sounds and smells of the passing countryside, the lush Rhine valley. Or is it the Danube? He hears the murmur of the ship's engines, the quiet conversation of his fellow travellers. He can make out the voices of his cousins, Carol and Geraldine. They sound happy. He looks to the sky. The ship lifts with his gaze and sails into the limitless blue. Barry turns his attention, as far as his creaking neck will allow him, from grand designs to his wife standing at the open-plan kitchen bench behind him. Carol has picked up the phone and, after a cheery greeting, fallen silent. "Oh, no. Just a moment, Jerry. I'll put you on speaker. Barry will want to hear this." Jerry. Geraldine. Geraldine Porteous Newstead. Carol's loaded double-barrelled sister, calling from her fancy home in Hobart, he assumes. What is it that he will want to hear from her? Whatever it might be, a wobble in Carol's voice makes it clear to him that he should listen. "Graham has died," Geraldine announces, her voice rendered more detached than usual by the tiny speaker. "He died in hospital last night." Barry shares a wordless stare with Carol, then turns back to the refuge of the television set, whose murmuring movements have suddenly blurred. He feels a surge of grief well up in him. Grief coloured with regret and guilt that they had not made the effort to visit Graham before it was too late. He finds he cannot speak. "Oh dear, poor Graham," Carol is saying.